in the bottom of your diaphragm, almost like it can touch down to the pelvic floor. So just let the bottom out a little bit so the breath can travel low and deep. Also feel the ribs kind of come into their spaciousness. So it's not just a downward breath, but it's, expanding in all directions. Just letting the ribs move outward as best as you can as well. No strain, just space. As you exhale, can you feel that container just kind of shrink a little bit? Feel the sense of softness as you condense. Notice the pathways of the breath through your nose, kind of banking the rivers of your throat so you have that slower breath rhythm as best as you can. Both on the inhale, but especially on the exhale. See what you can do to just slow things down. Melt through your skull. Relax any tension you feel in your head. You can even just do a little wobble. Make sure that things are at ease. And then maybe have a little mantra on the breath. What are you inviting in? What do you need? What are you releasing on the out breath? What are you letting go of? And then when you're ready, place your palms together at your heart and bow into your practice. Okay, let's go ahead and relax the hands and come down onto your back. I'm going to mess with my computer a moment here because I've lost sight of you all. I can't see anything. So as you come down onto your back, bend your knees for a moment. See if you can come into that state of ease that you just found a little bit of. See if you can sense into what the feeling is like when you are horizontal. So, breathing when you're vertical is beautiful and very therapeutic, very, our best place for oxygenation. But when we're horizontal, our nervous system gets the cue. Oh, time to relax a little bit. So see if you can feel into the difference here when you lie down on your back. Can you drop into whatever is supportive in that? Bend your knees for a moment and just allow yourself to loosen your back. Let it rest down into the floor. And we're going to start the practice a little differently than we sometimes do. You can also have your feet a little wider than your hips if you prefer. So you decide. We're just going to start with some pelvic tilts. So as you inhale, lift the top of the sacrum, drop the tailbone, widen your sit bones, wide open pelvic floor. And as you exhale, round the pelvis a little bit. So low back moves into the earth, top of sacrum into the earth, tailbone up, sit bones toward each other. And just go back and forth through this action of the pelvis as you're breathing. So, a lot of times when we have stress, our breath lands up in our upper chest or neck. And sometimes bringing awareness into the pelvic basin, the pelvic bowl, can be a great way to just help us remember that we can breathe into our full body. We don't have to just breathe into the top of the lungs. And then find neutral one more time. Let your shoulders rest on the ground. Feel the back of your head rest on the floor. And then let's start moving like we often do. Stretch your arms overhead and stretch your whole body and notice the difference. What just happened in your nervous system when you decided to have this bigger stretch. See if you can reach into the length of your side bodies. Feel that little bit of a back bend that lives here. And then relax and bring your knees into your chest and give a little hug. So rocking from side to side. Let your nervous system be soothed. Almost feel like you're sloshing from one side to the next. All right, and then let's open the knees up. So pull them apart from each other and bring them back in. It's just kind of finding semicircles or full circles, whatever feels good to just wake up and loosen the hips a bit. And then starfish out your body. Big breath. Reach and lengthen. Stretch into the fingers and the toes. Roll your ankles. Roll your wrists. Maybe open and close your fists. Just come into that state of space and touching into your edges. And then this time when you pick your knees into your chest, pick your head up too. Squeeze in a little bit. All right, relax your head back down and grab onto your strap if you have one. And if you don't have a strap, that's okay. You can do this without a strap. Left foot can be on the floor or left leg can be on the floor. Right foot in the strap and lift that leg straight up in the air. So we're going to do the Supta Padangusthasana sequence, 1, 2, and 3. So you decide whether or not you want your left foot on the floor or your left leg down. So find what's best for your breath, what's best for your pelvis. Kind of experiment with both and see where you find the most space in your body. And once you get settled, rise up through your right foot, root down through your right hip. Feel that you're moving in two opposing directions. And then start to flex and point your toes. So, it's helpful to kind of hook your heel with the strap. If you're not using a strap, you're just having your hands interlaced behind your hamstring. And so just notice maybe you want to roll the ankle a little bit. So just open up the calf, the Achilles, open up the front of the shin and foot as well. All right, and then relax the foot and move your attention to your spine. Reach your crown, move your right hip away from your shoulder. Fan out the hamstrings so they're broad. You're ready to put the strap in the right hand now. Open the right leg out to the right and stretch open through the inner thigh, the inner hamstrings of that right leg. Now, if you had your left leg on the ground instead of your left foot on the floor, press into the ground a little bit. Stabilize the left side of your body. Try not to do this in a place where you are straining your breath, but a place of stability. If your left knee is bent and your foot's on the floor, you can open your left knee out to the left to be a cantilever for the heavy right leg. Breathe in all the way to your foot, root the femur bone into the hip, deep external rotation in that femur bone. All right, and then when you're ready, lift that leg straight up in the air. Take the strap over to the left hand. Cross the right leg over to the left. Maybe the heel of the hand goes into the right hip crease. Maybe that doesn't matter to you. Whatever feels good. Spread out your spine. Get it long. Spread out your right foot. Get it wide. See if you can feel that your sit bones are not just smushed right up against each other, but you can find just a little bit of width while you're here. Okay, all right, great. And then lift that leg straight up in the air. Take the strap off. We're going to grab onto the foot for a half happy baby pose. So at this point, you might want to bend your left knee if you haven't yet. So see if it's comfortable, leg straight or not. Extend through the spine. And we're going to join the left foot with the right foot for full happy baby pose. Rock left and right to kind of ease the balance, because we haven't done those poses with the left leg yet, so your legs will probably feel different. Extend through the spine, wide sit bones. And then release both legs down onto the ground. Starfish your body out. And then as you're ready, left knee comes into the chest. Go ahead and put the strap on the left foot and lift that leg straight up in the air. Now, if this is, if you ever feel, especially doing something so deep in the beginning of our practice, that this is just a little too much too soon, you can bend and straighten your leg a little bit, just kind of warm the hamstring into opening. Decide whether you want your right leg on the floor or right foot on the floor. Mind your spine. So pay attention, Is the back of your head resting on the earth? Are your shoulders soft? Can your spine find its length without any gripping? Rise up through your left foot, root through your left hip, move your left hip away from your shoulder. How is your breath? Maybe start to find that flex and point of the left toes. Coming into awakening the back and front of your lower leg as you move your foot. All right, and then let's open the left leg out to the left. As you're ready, start to notice the right side of the body. Are you stable? Do you need to change any positions? Extend through the spine as well. See if you can feel into the fullness of your body. So, it's easy to narrow into a sensation, a singular sensation. Come into the broadness of your sensation, full body. Discover your breathing. How is it? Is the back of your head still able to rest on the floor? And then as you're ready, lift that leg straight up in the air. We're going to cross the left leg over to the right. Left hand can sink into the left hip crease if you want. No worries if you don't want. Head, neck, and shoulders and head are relaxed. Stretch through your foot in the air. Widen, broaden your foot, and widen, broaden your sit bones. Lengthen through your spine. Just notice sensation. Stretching is such a unique sensation in the body. So sometimes when we go slow and we're a little bit more relaxed, like we're on the floor, we give a lot more bandwidth to feeling into those sensations. So hopefully you're enjoying that. All right, so lift that leg up in the air and then half happy baby pose on this side, grabbing onto the foot. Your right foot can come onto the floor instead of straight if that's more comfortable. Breathing well. Feel the compression in your hip. All right, and then open out to starfish, limbs wide. Wiggle fingers and toes, touch the edges. Exhale, knees into the chest. Let's roll over onto our side and come on up to all fours. All right, so let's start to move. Cat-cows are a beautiful way to begin your day. So let's start moving through, feeling the arching of the spine, the wide sit bones, feeling the rounding of the spine, the sit bones moving toward each other. Start to feel that your spine and your pelvis and your breath all work harmoniously with each other. All right, move anything around that feels good. So you can move through your shoulders. You can roll around in your pelvis, whatever feels nice. Connect your breath to what you're doing. All right, and curl the toes under and lift all the way up to dog pose. Our hamstrings might be a little looser than they sometimes are after what we've just done, so just notice. Bend your knees as much as you want to. Feel the heart lift toward the pelvis. Take some tension off the hamstrings by bending the knees. This will give you a lot more freedom to move the pelvis and spine. Relax your neck. Find those slow, deep breaths again. Let this pose be nourishing to you. All right, come back onto all fours and stretch back to child's pose. Take your hips back toward the heels. Open up the spine. Wide sit bones again. Deep compression in the femur bones. Walk the hands over to one side of the mat and feel the rib cage broaden and open. Take care to relax the neck as best as you can. Breathing deeply and fully. Remember, we're trying to restore our energy here. So keep the mind focused on the breath. Keep the mind focused on the sensations of the body. Walk the hands over to the other side. Be mindful of places where you tend to carry tension. A lot of us carry tension at the base of our skull or in our face. So see what you can do to constantly be melting a bit. There's very little need for the muscles around your skull to do work in your yoga practice. All right, come back to center. Curl your toes under, again, up into dog pose. Extend the spine here, breathing well. Feel the nourishment. Let your head drop. Feel the inversion. Feel the forward fold. Maybe close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Stay grounded well through your hands. All right, and then walk your feet forward and come into Uttanasana. Fold in half. Relax your neck. Bobble it around a little bit. You can sway your hips. Okay, inhale for a halfway lift. Grow the spine, long, long, long. And then exhale and melt again. Push off your feet, rise up, bring the arms to the sky. Open yourself up, kind of greet the day. So stand here, have some good posture, feel supported by your lower body. And then open the heart, expand yourself open, receive. See if you can feel the sunlight, even if you're in a dark room. Can you feel the sense of the sun moving into you? Welcome some energy from above. And then cactus, open the arms, hug the shoulder blades toward each other, and then round in. Forearms come to touch. Rise up, bring the arms high again. Exhale, swan dive forward, relax the head. Shake the tail, shake the shoulders, shake the head, loosen things up. Inhale for a halfway lift, spine grows again. Exhale and melt. Left foot back, right foot comes forward, lunging. Start to feel the rhythm of movement with breath. Open the chest up as you inhale. Exhale, straighten the leg, tuck the chin toward the chest. Maybe your breath is different than that. All is well, just keep breathing. Forward, bending your knee, chest broad. Relax and come back. Find a lunge, ground your feet, adjust anything that needs adjusting for deep roots, and then rise up. Once again, arms go up maybe, greet the sun. Maybe your hands need to be in a different position for your stability, for your freedom, for your breath. So take the day, take what's here, open yourself up to it. Breathe deeply in. Long exhales out. And release the hands. Walk the back foot forward, fold in half, relax your neck. Inhale for a halfway lift. Spine grows taller and longer. Exhale and melt again. Step the other foot back, left foot forward, right foot back. Finding lunge, open the chest, be light on the blocks. Start to move when you're ready. Breathing as you move, straightening the front leg, bending the front knee. Just warming up, coming into some compression, coming into some extension. Ground your feet, place them where they're best, and then rise up again. Bring the arms open to the sky or anywhere that feels really spacious. What's supportive? What's giving you energy? If energy is streaming into you, if you're inviting resource, where do your arms need to be for that best place of energy moving in? Keep the base of the skull relaxed and soft. Ground into the earth. Receive from above, receive from below. All right, release the hands down onto the ground. Back foot comes forward, fold Uttanasana. Relax your head. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt. Now, we're going to do Uttanasana in a slightly different way than we usually do. This is going to be a supported inversion. So you can do this with a lot of blocks underneath your head. You can do this with very little blocks underneath your head. Perhaps you can't bend that far. So you do you, but one of the things I want you to focus on is supporting the head. You can even come this high and have, like a pillow or a blanket or something, and you can come into a half lift here. So there's lots of ways of finding support for your skull while you're in a forward fold. Notice my feet are wider than hip width apart. You can go really wide if you want, whatever feels good to you. We're going to do Pasrita with the block later, so don't feel like this is your only opportunity to have your legs really wide. Okay. So you can rest your forehead, you can rest the edge of your forehead and hairline, and if you're really low, you can rest the top of the head. So, be wherever is comfortable. Knees can be bent, knees can be straight, whatever feels good. If your legs are going straight, make sure you're able to lift and widen the sit bones and tip the pelvis. You want to have a waterfall from your tail to your crown. Find your breath. Find your breath. Lift your shoulders away from the ears. Give your neck room. I can't teach headstand, handstand at home. It's just not appropriate. So this is the next best thing. If you have a handstand in your practice, okay, let's come on out of there. Reach into a supported Uttanasana. If you have a handstand in your practice, go to a wall right now and go do a handstand. Handstands are very invigorating. Everybody else, rise up, reaching the arms to the sky. They're very invigorating, but they're also very restorative. They bring a lot of energy into the body in a very different way than like Supta Baddha Konasana does. So if that's something that's good for you, remember, if you get the 2 o'clock slump, handstands are way better than sugar or caffeine to kind of pick you up. Any inversion will help with that. So just notice as you come back to standing now, everybody joining, unless you're still doing your handstand, which by all means. But just notice when your head has been low like that, how has it changed the sensation in your brain? Okay, rise up, reaching the arms to the sky. Exhale and float forward. Hands down onto the earth. Walk your feet back, dog pose. Extending through the spine, heart lifting toward the pelvis. Breathe well. Come forward into a plank. Hold yourself steady here, shoulders away from the ears. Feel that sense of stability, ground. This is a very sturdy pose. Let's enjoy the sturdiness. Let your body know, I am resilient, I am sturdy, I am stable. This is also part of restoring ourselves, is knowing that we can handle stress, that we are resilient. Put your knees down onto the ground if you need it and come onto your belly. Roll your shoulders a few times. Rise up, cobra pose when you're ready for it. And then exhale and release. Roll the shoulders a few more times. Just feel them move up toward the shoulder or up toward the ears, up toward the sky and down. And then one more time, cobra pose, opening up through your chest and releasing to melt back down. Come onto all fours, walk your hands forward, knees are right underneath your pelvis, and drop your spine toward the ground. So we're not coming back to child's pose. The hips are high, right over the knees. Drop the torso, lift up to the armpits, have a little bit of counter current so that we're not just falling into the earth, but we're having that puppy pose, feeling where the spine is starting to open. And then release that, come onto all fours, swish your spine, come into any movement that feels nice, and when you're ready, rise up, dog pose. Lift the right leg up, stack open the hip, feel that spaciousness. And then when you're ready, square the hips again and bring your foot through to a lunge. Plant your back heel down onto the ground, Reach the arms back behind you. Stay low in your torso first, and then rise up when you're ready. Vera one. Lean back a little bit. Let a back bend happen in your body without compressing through the lumbar spine. Breathing well. And then when you're ready, open up and turn to the side for Parsvottanasana. Elbow on the knee and stretch your spine open. Feel the enjoyment of space in your body. Stretch from your fingers to your back heel and enjoy all that room. Find the ground. So this resiliency of deep roots, strong, stable legs, open heart. Okay, rise up to a reverse warrior. Lift the arm, feel the side body stretch. And then come on up to stand. Turn your feet to the long edge of the mat. Find your breath, open the heart up. And we're gonna come down, femur bones drawing back. Bring your hands down onto the ground. Second forward fold with support. So have whatever you need underneath your head. It could be on a piece of furniture, not a block. It could be blocks. So we're wide-legged stance. Move the shoulders away from the ears. So they might want to fall toward your ears. See if you can move the shoulders away from the ears. Wide sit bones. Try not to push your knees back. Have a little give, a little pocket behind the knees. Spread out the bones of the feet. So the shins move slightly forward so you're not hyperextending the knees. Breathe well. Whatever height you've managed to get comfortable on, let your head rest into it. Feel the supported inversion. Slow, steady breath. If you're really happy, stay a while longer. If you're ready to make a change, come back to dog pose. Lengthen through your spine again, breathing well. When you're ready, left leg lifts high in the air, and then stack open that hip and enjoy the space. Breathing well. All right, square up the hips, bring your foot forward, plant your back heel down onto the ground, and rise up to Virabhadrasana 1. Arms stay back at the beginning, torso is low to begin. Ground your feet, feel the roots, and then when you're ready, rise up. Tip your head back if you want. Maybe your arms aren't best in this position and you want your arms in a different position. So find what works for you. Try not to compress the back of the neck or the lumbar spine. Open that puppy pose up in your thoracic spine. Root into your feet. And then as you're ready, turn and open up to the side for Parsvottanasana. Elbow comes down onto your knee. Bring your arm maybe overhead, maybe not. Okay. Feel the fullness of that side body stretch. Enjoy it. Heel to hand. Shoulders move away from the ears. Keep opening up that left knee. See if you can stay in line with the middle toes instead of letting it cave toward your big toe side. Ground through 2 feet. Relax your neck. All right, come into a reverse of the warrior. Open things up. And then come back to the front of your mat. When you're ready for another dog pose, take your feet wide on the mat, broad space. If you have a block handy, stick it underneath your head. Okay. Just feel what it feels like to have support under your head in dog pose. See if you can get the block to be just right, wherever the height is needed. Melt here, melt your cheeks, your tongue, your jaw, your eyes. Stay stable in your legs and arms. Feel all the ways you support yourself in dog pose. Try not to collapse onto the block. The head is melting. All right, let's come forward. Your legs are still wide apart. Come into a wide-legged plank now. Feel that broad base of support. Stabilize through your core. Deep breaths in, away. All right, come down. Rest in child's pose for a moment. Arms can be overhead if you want them to be. Relax your neck. Maybe put a block under your head here. Maybe your head comes to the floor. Rest in yet another forward fold. Soften the base of the skull. Feel the compression in the hips. Make any adjustments that are needed to be comfortable here. All right, come up onto all fours. Inhale, lift the right arm up in the air. Exhale, and slide that shoulder down. Finding a twist. Enjoy the open heart in a very unique way. Twisting's different than any other type of pose. Feel into the sensations of the body. Okay, open that arm up and place the hand down. Change sides. Gaze toward the floor. Relax your neck. Enjoy what the twist is offering you. All right, inhale, come back up. Bring that arm to the sky. Hand down, child's pose. Maybe you want the support of the block again. Maybe you don't. So find your way. All right. We're going to come into pigeon pose with your, let's do right leg forward. Okay, support underneath you. If you need blankets, then take blankets. So whatever you need, if you need to do reverse pigeon pose instead of pigeon pose to support your body, then by all means do that. Okay. Square the hips, widen the sit bones, extend the spine. Block again. Okay, so put your head on, let your head rest on something. There's a lot of feedback to our nervous system when we rest our heads on support. So make sure you have support, whatever height it needs to be. Make sure that you are not hanging in space. So you want to have props here to help you under your hips, under your back thigh. However, I have a blanket underneath my sit bone and my back thigh. But maybe you only need it under your sit bone. Maybe you don't need anything. Just do what feels best, most supportive. And try not to smush the sit bones toward each other. Widen the sit bones. Feel the space. Extend the spine. Can you melt the head? Is it as heavy as it can be, or are you holding something? How is your breath? All right, when you're ready, You can come back up. We're going to change sides. So however you like to shift to the other side, go ahead and shift. See if you can sense into what kind of support you need on this side. So pigeon pose, our hips are not the same usually, left and right. So find what works for you. What kind of support do you need? Is it different? Do you have different angles of where your heel is in relation to your pubic bone on this side? Check in with your ankle, your knee, your hip, your SI joint, and make sure that you are at ease. Once you're able to come down, rest your head. And if you're in reverse pigeon pose, you're still resting your head, finding the sense of deep space where your body can rest. And that often starts with the head. When we don't have the capacity, I'm just going to take the sunbeam off of me, so keep going. If we don't have a lot of capacity to rest our skull, this is a cue to the body that all is not relaxed and well. And we can hold a lot of unconscious tension there. So make sure you're letting the forehead or the back of the skull relax. As you're ready, we're going to come out of the breath. Take a couple breaths before you come out. Then we're going to find our way onto our back. Okay, so grab a block or two if you like 2 blocks. We're going to do a supported bridge pose. So you can have the block on any height you want it to be on. It can be underneath your pelvis on the low side. If you're on the middle side, sometimes that can feel very narrow. So you can also experiment with having 2 blocks right next to each other. And just find whatever works for you, whatever kind of support is best for your pelvis. Okay. If you want to go super high, that's fine too, but just stack 1 block over the other. So you're not having just a single short block under your pelvis. All right, so breathe into the open space here. Is your belly able to move freely? Is your neck and head able to relax? Are you open across your chest? Back of the head is nourished. It's relaxing into the floor. All right, and then go ahead and lift the pelvis up and come off of there. Come back down onto the ground and windshield wiper your knees left and right. We're going to come back into that pose, but lower in just a second. So first, just ease your pelvis by windshield wipering. And now you're going to make a choice how high you want to be. I would suggest the low height, again, under your pelvis, and stretch your legs straight. Now, if this is too much for your pelvis, 1 leg at a time. So foot down on 1 knee bent and the other leg straight. We're not going to be here for but just a few breaths. You can stretch your arms overhead if you want to. Just awaken the front of the body a little bit. Feel into the breath. Let the breath inform the psoas muscles to relax. If you've had one side, make sure you're changing to the other. Deep inhales. Deep exhales. And then bend both knees. Bring your knees up toward your chest. You don't have to bring them all the way into your chest, just up in the air is sufficient. And then maybe lift your legs for a leg up the wall without a wall. Okay. Just let your low back be nourished. If you're not happy on the block, make a change. How you can bring your legs closer to you or straight up in the air. Your knees can be bent. Your knees can be bent in. Your legs can be straight. Whatever feels best to you. Let's go ahead and find our way. Come bringing your feet down onto the ground. Get off the block. Rest on the floor, just like we did in the beginning of class. Let your back be nourished by the ground. Knees bent. Soften everything into the earth. What are you still picking up? Is your head as heavy as it can be? Your arms, your shoulders, your spine. Okay, let's pick up the hips and scooch them over to the right. Knees come up and drop them to the left. Turn your head and open your body up to a twist. And come back. Lift your hips, scooch them the other way, knees up and drop them to the side. Bring your knees up. Bring your knees into your chest, perhaps happy baby pose, perhaps just holding your knees. Feel free to rock, coming left and right. Slosh your body a little bit. All right, and then relax and roll over onto your side. I forgot to tell you to get this in the beginning of class. Hopefully you have this handy because we use it sometimes. A rolled towel with your 3 rubber bands. I'm pretty sure all of you have done this with me. So just a hand towel with 3 of the rubber bands. So if you don't have that, maybe if you can access it or yeah, sorry, I meant to tell you in the beginning to go get that. So I apologize for kind of throwing that in the middle of class. We're going to start with first, just bring your knees to your chest and rock a little bit. Feel the rolled towel right at the tops of your shoulder blades. Just sense into it. And then put your feet down onto the ground. And we're going to start with pushing off our feet. So remember, when we do this rocking, we're moving north and south in our body. So push off your heels to move your head, up and then down. So we're going up, down with the spine instead of rocking side to side. Once you get your little rhythm going, enjoy this. This should feel very nice. Just the rhythm alone should be soothing to the body. And then we add the arms. So palms are facing our chest, fingers toward each other, arms right over the sternum. And then arms come up over your head. Heavy head, breath is here. And then arms come back over the chest. And then turn your head and bring your arms over to one side. And then arms up and bring your arms over to the other side. All right, so now notice, are your quads freaking out? So pause if they are and figure out what you're doing wrong. So we don't want to have a pelvic tilt in this posture. We don't want to be doing like we did in the beginning of class. Your pelvis should be quiet and we're just gently pushing off our heels. If this is too much strain, so you can keep going. If you're in a good place, just move that rolled towel a little bit lower on your shoulder blades and repeat. arms over your chest, arms over your head, and go at your pace, and then side to side, turn your head and your arms to one side and then the other. If your quads are kind of freaking out, you can do this posture a little supported with your feet. So if you take a bolster or block something against a wall, and you have your knees bent with your toes up on the blocks or up on the wall or up on a bolster, whatever it is, this can sometimes give you, just having your toes up on something can ease the tension in your quads a little bit and make this a little bit easier. So, find what works for your body as you do this spinal rolling. Okay, so this should feel really good. This should be a very happy thing in your body. So get into that rhythmic rocking state. Breathe the whole way through. And remember the four really positions of the hands right over the chest, the hands over the head, and the arms turning to the side with the head one way, and then the arms turning to the side with the head the other way. All the while breathing and rocking, and then move the roll towel down your spine a little bit more. So you can take your time doing this. You can take as long as you want. Okay. This is a really great self-care, self-massage practice to do. You pick a lot of flowers with one hand while you're doing this. Your nervous system gets to be rocked, which is very soothing and stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. You are having direct stimulation on the spine, which is also very soothing. You loosen up a lot of the ligaments and a lot of the connective tissue, and the deep spinal muscles like the multifidus get a little bit of a massage. So if you're a neck, shoulder, back, sacrum, if you hold tension anywhere along the pathway, this will be a supportive thing for you to do to release tension in the body. So notice as you're moving down the spine, if you're feeling relaxed, if it's really helping you to find some ease. When you get to the lumbar spine, and no, there's no rush that you should be there. I'm just saying, when you get to the lumbar spine, often we start to, now you suddenly can't feel anything. So if that happens to you, just bring your knees toward your chest, and we'll forego the arm movements and just hold your knees and help yourself rock a little bit to nourish the lumbar spine. And then when you get to the sacrum, you can put your feet back down again. And when you get low in the body, like your sacrum, you might feel, the arm movements don't matter anymore. I'm not really under my chest. But do them anyway, because they do matter. It's subtle, but your body is all connected. So if you find flexion and extension and rotation through those arm movements, it will nourish your whole spine, even down at the sacrum and the tail. So you can just go as long as you want. And then sometimes when you get to the very bottom of your sacrum, straightening your legs and putting your heels on the ground, and then just rocking yourself with your feet, flex and extend your feet can feel nice sometimes on the tip of the tail. So you do you the whole way through. Kind of sense into any sensation that feels really nice. If you kind of find a spot where you're like, oh yeah, that's good, linger. There's no reason not to. So taking the time, restorative practices don't have to just be lying around and breathing. They can be. Sometimes our restorative practices are quite active, like they've been through the practice today. So I have no idea how far along everybody is. It's hard to see. So just allow yourself to finish whenever you're ready. And if I'm ahead of you, that's totally fine. And if I'm way behind you and you've been done for a while, We're just going to ease ourselves into any variation of Shavasana that's right for you. So don't rush through this, but if you're ready, maybe you want to do leg up the wall pose. Maybe you want to put your calves up on a couch. Maybe you want to find a really yummy Supta Baddha Konasana. Maybe you want to lay flat. Maybe you want to curl onto your side or a child's pose over a bolster. Shavasana doesn't have to be always the traditional lying on your back. And in actuality, lying on your back isn't the most relaxing usually for our nervous system. There's still this like front body openness to the space around you. Sometimes our nervous system is better when we curl. So maybe laying on your side, maybe being prone on your belly with a bolster underneath your pelvis. So make choices that you think will be best for your body, for your mind. As you come into the last pose of your practice, make sure that the most important thing you do is find ease in discovering the breath. Relax and melt everything you have access to. Come back into that beautiful breath of a slow, steady inhale and a slow, steady exhale.
Let's begin to deepen our breathing again. See if you can sense into the weight of your body. If you're in a pose that is not neutral, like if your legs are wide apart or something, just bring yourself back into a relaxed, soft place. Breathe well. And let's find ourselves moving on to our side, roll onto your side. Pause there for a moment. Find your breath. And then as you're ready, come up to sit up straight and tall. Just notice for a moment how you are. Do you feel grounded? Do you feel at ease? And then when you're ready, you can bring your hands together at your heart. And let's offer this grace of our practice, share our energy with another. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. So happy to